Earlier this year, Kia replaced its mid-size Optima sedan with a brand new model called the K5. The K5 was just so new, Kia thought it deserved its own new name, and it was an extremely impressive sedan, but with 180 horsepower from a 1.6-liter four-cylinder engine, it wasn't going to do much to win over enthusiasts. That is until they introduced this. This is the 2021 Kia K5 GT, and it's gunning after some of the big names like Honda Accord 2.0 and Toyota Camry TRD. Can it do so? That's what we're here to find out today. Mainstream sedans are not boring anymore. Just look at the K5. This is a super aggressive design. You've got Kia's tiger nose grille up front. I always thought the K5 was really cool looking, but they've dialed things up even more with the GT. We have a very similar front end with some black accenting down there on the bottom. I love these headlights, how they have the yellow accent lighting while you're driving. The GT is going to get larger diameter brakes with 19-inch wheels. Those are really cool. The K5 has this very coupe-like roofline around the back, and you are going to notice some of the GT upgrades are here around the back as well. I love the connected taillight bar. You are going to get a very subtle black spoiler, but the thing you're really going to notice on the GT model are these quad exhaust tips. They look fantastic. Now, all of that driving goodness of this car would be wasted if the interior weren't a great place to sit, but luckily the K5 is a fantastic vehicle both inside and out. So as we pull over to look at the cabin, we're going to notice that there are some nice upgrades here on this GT model that you're not going to get on some of the other K5s. We do have a more aggressively bolstered seat with this red piping. That's the only color option you're going to be able to get on the K5 GT, and we do have an optional package on this one. It's called the GT1 package that's going to add heated and ventilated seats that work extremely well. Now, aside from that package, this car actually does come really well loaded. There are some fantastic pieces of technology in this car. Base, you're going to get an 8-inch head unit. It's actually going to have a tuner knob over here. This one does not. It has these touch capacitive buttons. This is the larger 10.25-inch display that comes as part of the GT1 package, and the difference here is you're going to have built-in nav on this larger screen. I do like the screen size, but one thing you're going to lose aside from the tuner knob is you are not going to have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on the bigger screen. You're only going to get that on the smaller screen. But everything else in here that you see comes pretty much standard. You're getting dual zone automatic climate control. You're getting amazing safety technology with adaptive cruise control and steering assist. You're getting Kia's highway driving assistant, all of that included on the K5 GT because this is a very well optioned car. Now the GT1 package for $4,100, that's going to add power memory seats, the larger touchscreen, heated steering wheel, the heated and ventilated seats I mentioned, parking sensors, and the Bose audio system with 12 high-performance speakers. All of that really makes this feel like a luxurious vehicle inside. The ergonomics are fantastic. We've got plenty of space up here. We've got our wireless charger here, nice cup holders as well. If I did have one complaint on this car, it would be that some of the materials are not the softest to the touch. There are a little bit of hard plastics, and listen, I'm not crazy here. This is not quite as nice as a BMW on the inside, but it is a very nice place to sit. And just remember, you are going to make some, quote, sacrifices when you're driving a Kia versus a BMW, Audi, or Mercedes, but you're also going to gain a lot as well. This is way cheaper than options like a BMW 3 Series, Audi A4, or Mercedes C-Class, but size-wise, it's nearly as big as an Audi A6, BMW 5 Series, Mercedes E-Class. We've got 81 inches of combined legroom here with 35.2 inches in the back. The trunk offers 16 cubic feet of space. That's as big as a 5 Series or an E-Class. Way bigger than things like the 3 Series and the A4. So in terms of value, size, practicality, the Kia K5 is a winner. So we just checked out the exterior where the K5 GT is definitely more aggressive than the regular K5, and it backs that up with a lot of extra power. Whereas the base K5 only makes 180 horsepower, this has Kia's new 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, shelling out 290 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. Those are really good numbers when you compare it to things like the V6 Camry and the 2-liter Honda Accord. It's not the most power of those bunch, but the torque number does make up for it. Now, all of that is going to be routed through a rather interesting transmission for this segment. This is Kia's new 8-speed dual-clutch transmission. It's the same one that we tested in the Sorento. There aren't really any other vehicles aside from the Hyundai Sonata, which shares a mechanical underpinnings with this car, that use a dual clutch, especially a wet dual clutch system like this, and that is going to give the K5 GT sporting pretensions that those other cars simply do not have. Like, we have paddle shifters here on the wheel, and a lot of sedans have that. The Camry has that now, but in the Camry, I feel like they're mostly just tacked on for marketing purposes so that you can say, oh, I can have a sporty drive with my paddle shifters, but nobody's really going to use them. In this, when you slap this over to manual mode, it becomes a full manual transmission with extremely quick shifts, and it does make the driving experience more fun, unlike a conventional automatic or, God forbid, a CVT. Now, I was a bit surprised to learn that the K5 GT actually comes with launch control with this 8-speed dual clutch. Just put your foot on the brake, foot on the gas, ready, and let's go. Lots of wheel spin. Oh my God. Wow. That was impressive. So this is actually a configurable launch control. You can set the RPMs like you can on like a BMW M car or a Dodge Hellcat. This is crazy technology on a mid-size car. And you might have heard there was quite a lot of tire squeal on that launch, because although the K5 GT has a massive amount of power and a great transmission, it is sending all of that power out to the front wheels. That's right, you cannot get all-wheel drive on this model, and I see why they did that. I think it would have added a lot of cost to this vehicle. You probably would have pushed it closer to that $40,000 price range where the Kia Stinger lives, so I understand why they didn't do that. But this might be a front-wheel drive vehicle, but it is one of the best driving front-wheel drive vehicles I have ever experienced. Now, to activate that launch control, I had to put this vehicle into its Sport Plus setting. Now, the drive modes on this car are actually very different than the other K5s. You only get normal, Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom. Now, the Sport Plus mode is going to disable your traction control, so that's a really bold thing for a Sport Plus mode in a regular car like this to do. And then you just have to hit the traction control button one more time and hold it to disable the stability control. That's how you can activate that awesome launch control system. And Kia claims that this car will do 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds, but some of the big magazines out in California have tested it at 5.2 seconds in reality. Now, that is blisteringly quick. That will blow the doors off of a Camry TRD or a Honda Accord 2.0T. The only car that's faster than this is its corporate sibling, the Hyundai Sonata N-Line. There's a reason why the Sonata N-Line is quicker than the K5 GT, even though they're pretty much exactly the same car with the exact same engine and transmission. The Sonata N-Line will do it in 5 seconds flat, and that's because it has an optional summer tire that you just cannot get here on the K5 GT. This is only going to come in Pirelli P0 all-season tires, where on the Sonata N-Line you're going to be able to get a Continental Premium Contact 6 summer tire. So that is going to aid in the traction tremendously. So if you are wanting the best handling, the best performance, the Sonata N-Line is a little bit better than the K5 in that respect. But again, you can just buy this car and switch out the tires if you really want the best performance, because I do think that the K5 GT looks a little bit better. You get heated and ventilated seats that are not available on the Sonata N-Line. The only advantage that you get out of the Sonata N-Line is those summer tires, optional, not standard, and you do get a digital gauge cluster on the Sonata N-Line, which is a nice touch. So the Sonata N-Line is a slightly better performer on those tires, but I feel like the two would probably be identical if they were both wearing their all-season tires. And whichever one you pick, this or the Sonata N-Line, you are getting what I have discovered is the best driving experience in the midsize sedan segment, and it's not even particularly close. This is so much more dynamic to me than a Honda Accord or a Mazda 6 or a Toyota Camry TRD. The steering is so sharp. They've tuned it a little bit differently than you get on a regular K5 GT, and I assume the Sonata N-Line is the same. It's got a sharper tune-in that's really progressive. You can really feel what the front wheels are up to. Now, you're never going to forget that this is a front-wheel drive sedan because you can smoke the tires up to 45 miles an hour. This thing is an absolute front-wheel drive tire shredder, but it's almost on the level of something like a Golf GTI. It really does feel like it was tuned to be an enthusiast car like that. We've got the tuned steering ratio. They put larger brakes on this car. We've got 13.6-inch calipers up front, 12.8s in the rear, only a 3,500 pound curb weight. We do have a tuned suspension. It's not a crazy stiff sport suspension, but it is a little bit sportier than what you would get on the normal K5 GT, and you can just throw this thing into the corners. It has such a nice chassis. Remember that this car and its sister car, the Sonata N-Line, were both developed by Albert Biermann, and he is a very important character because he's the one who used to design some of your favoriteest BMW M models, and you can really feel that from behind the wheel here. This car is 35 grand as you see it here, and I think this is easily as much fun to drive as something like a BMW 3 Series, if not a little bit more fun. It may be front wheel drive, but you're getting more power. I'm getting the grip out of it that I want. For a mainstream sedan, this is one of the best driving experiences you're ever gonna get. So that was my thoughts on the 2021 Kia K5 GT. I think that Kia has built one of the ultimate sports sedan bargains ever. This thing is so well priced. It only costs $30,500 base. That's gonna make it less expensive than a TRD Camry, but you get more stuff. There's only one package you need to add. It's that $4,100 GT1 package. I would think about doing it because it takes this from a mainstream ride into a rather luxurious cruiser, all for under $35,000. Now, the one car that you might want to consider over the K5 GT is the Hyundai Sonata N-Line, this vehicle's sister car. That gets the summer tires with a little bit better performance, but you are going to sacrifice those heated and ventilated seats on the Kia K5, and I think that this is the more attractive looking of the two vehicles. But no matter how you slice it, I think that the K5 GT punches way above its class. It's way better, far superior, more fun than the Camry TRD and Honda Accord 2.0. I almost think it's good enough to punch with things like the Audi A4 and BMW 3 Series, and if it were my money, I would have this over a base German luxury sedan. We hope you've enjoyed this review of the 2021 Kia K5 GT. If you want a review of the standard K5, we've got a video of that as well. We actually got two trim levels of that, the GT line, which is different from the GT, and the EX, which is quite close to this, but without the engine. We hope you'll check that video out and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. I'll see you next time.